He can't claim none of this. So when he's sitting there and he's claiming to be black and he's playing blackness and catering and tap dancing around blackness, he knows what he's doing because he studied this. He knows what he's doing. And
100.
so, you know, and this is where we're going to get into the next video. Thank God you came at this time, because now we're about to get into this. Oh.
Mr. Mandami.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
So this is Mandami. He is talking before the New York. Well, he's talking before the New York State Assembly about reparations before the commission was the commission. Am I correct in this, Mr. President? So let's just hit play. Let him do the talking.
To explain my vote, I didn't plan on speaking today, but I rise to respond to some of the questions that have been brought up by our colleagues on the other side of the aisle. I have heard concerns about the question of whether African descent is too broad, and what if someone like Elon Musk could qualify for such reparations. We need not look further than this own house. My grandfather's family came to Lamu in Kenya in 1890. My grandmother's family came to Zanzibar in 1890. I was born a son of the Ugandan soil in Nsambya Hospital in Kampala in 1991. I am of African descent, and I am not black, and that is not a surprise to any one of us here. And I am not eligible for any kind of reparations tied to the harms of slavery. And I trust that the commission would find that same determination, because who is better at determining blackness than the United States government? Because it is that government that determined it from the inception of this country, through Jim Crow, up until this point, to deny political, social, and economic rights to black Americans at every single juncture. There was no problem with it for many throughout the duration of that time, and yet now when it comes to the question of reparations, everyone is concerned. I've also heard the question of why shouldn't the minority, which has never sounded like any minority I've met in my life, be given the ability to appoint members to this commission. The Republican Party is in full embrace of Donald Trump, a man who referred to many of the places, that enslaved New Yorkers came from as shithole countries. So why should that same party be able to deny?
Ladies and gentlemen.
I do not understand why that's so objectionable. Do you not support that man who said these things?
Mr. Goodell, why do you rise?
Would you remind the Speaker, if you would, please, to focus his discussion on the bill that's in front of us, as opposed to unrelated political comments that are inaccurate or derogatory. Thank you.
Staying on the bill in chief. Thank you.
Expression of gratitude for the sponsor today, for fighting to bring this legislation to this point, for the sponsor that preceded her, for originating this legislation, and for all those of my colleagues who have suffered through the indignities of slavery and its history in this country, and who are here today to lead us to a future where we reckon with it, rectify those same injustices, and we move forward to a New York for every single person. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mandami, in the affirmative.
Lord, I was having all kind of difficulties. Okay, the fact that it's like sharing the whole screen is an issue for me here. All right, so yes, let me take this off the screen so you can speak.
Yeah, I was just about to say, oh my God, hopefully she ain't got nothing that's gonna come out. Like this what's being shared ain't the video no more.
I know, right? Yo,
I
I thought
was
about
like,
Roland
Lord.
Martin. I thought about,
Right, you're about to have your Roro moment. Something was about to
I
be on
don't
that
have no.
screen.
That's not possible. You
Okay,
saw
good.
what
Okay.
came up on my thing. What MSNBC? Okay, you saw what came up the news.
Listen, I don't want to see nothing else.
Oh
I was like,
my.
uh
Oh my. And skincare. Oh yes.
oh. So
Evenmelanin.com.
yeah, there you
Evenmelanin.com.
go.
Yes.
Yes.
And like, share, subscribe. I never forget to say things like I never remember to say things like that. But yes, but yeah, you saw what it came up on my thing, the news.
Yes. We're gonna keep it there. Yeah, so this was full disclosure in our fight and our advocacy in New York. This was our intro, or let me not say our, this was my introduction to Assembly Member Mandami. I'd never, interacted with him. I never heard about him or from him up until this point. So this was my introduction. And I'm glad he said what he said on record, because this is what has been the crux of our entire problem with the reparations task force, which started with the legislation. Because he is 100% absolutely correct. He is of African descent. And the bill, which calls for remedies of those of African descent, he would qualify to be included if the commission so found it fit, based on the criteria. He also then goes on to say, which is very problematic, and we made all these issues known, during the process before this got signed into law by the governor, because it did pass the House during that session in which he's making these comments. But he then said he's not black, and who better to determine blackness than the U.S. government? That is highly problematic. But it's also problematic for an entirely different reason that he did not speak to, and that is that he racialized our reparations. Because from his perspective, and the perspective of the entire commission of its in and of itself, is that if you're of African descent and black, then you receive reparations or should be eligible for reparations. And that's just wholly incorrect, and actually exactly what will get it challenged and overturned if anything does come from it, thus making it unconstitutional. And so you have this person, right, that at the time of those comments had already marked African American on his application. So he can get up and grandstand and say, oh, I'm not black, as everybody can see, but then you mark black on your application while you have two professors in the home with one that is studying Africana studies.
Yep.
As a teacher in Africana studies. And so you have this cosplayer, if you will. You have this person that is playing in our collective face when it comes to our remedial justice claim, when it comes to identity. And at the time of those comments, had already seen the AAPI community get their disaggregation bill signed into law. So we have to understand who we're dealing with and what they play dumb about when it's time to play dumb. And so we can't allow them to do that, and we can't play dumb. We don't have no space or no time to play dumb. And so, in the in the words of not just my mom, but most of our FBA moms, we ain't none of these politicians little friend. And so they can't play with us because we ain't got no time to be played with.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how serious this is, but also how strongly we have to hold, these politicians to account for the stuff that they do, and like I said, and or play dumb about. So I'll take a breath there.
Man, listen, you said it. And this is the issue here. Like, how dare you sit there and like I said, he can't claim dumb. So his father is an African professor, as a professor of African studies at Columbia. His major was Africana studies. We saw that, you know what I'm saying, that Africana studies is the study of the diaspora. So even here,
That's
so
right.
you know that there has been a history of people stealing from our heritage and all of these things, and colonization, how they come into your space and make it their own, and then tell you that you're a foreigner in your space. This is what happened to them in India. This is why they was in Africa in the first place, because the white folks came up in India and was whooping their behinds. And then they went over to Africa to now, so they weren't at the bottom in India. So they come over to whatchamacallit, and this is the perfect time for me to play this right here. I'm gonna play this right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to cue it up too, because I wasn't prepared to play it at this time, but I think the time is now. Let me see if I can find it. Cue it up right here. So that scene where he was with his friend goes a little bit further, right? And I want to play that now, okay?
That is the coward. Don't talk to me about cowards. That's what you are. You're not living because you're scared to leave. You are scared of leaving Uganda. Why should I go? Why should I go? Okello, this is my home. Not anymore, Jay. Africa is for Africans. Black Africans. It's easy to be king of Kampala. Big fish in a little pond. Why don't you try to be king of London or king of Bombay? Because I was born here. I've always been Ugandan first, Indian second. I've been called a bootlicker and a traitor by my fellow Indians. Okello. Uganda is my home. Not anymore, Jay. Africa is for Africans. Black
I can't hear you.
Oh my goodness gracious. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, you was talking on mute for a little bit.
Thank you. So I'm trying to find this part, and I think that's it. I don't remember, but it was another clip. I feel like it was a clip that's missing. But he basically, it was a little part of it that you saw. And it basically said, well, why won't you be a big fish in London? Why don't you go be a big fish in India? Basically, he named a specific city, and he's like, why don't you go be a big fish in India? And he's like, because Uganda's my home. And then he goes, I think you're scared that you can't do what you did here over there. And like I said, I don't know where the clip is, but you guys watch the movie. Okay. So we're gonna get into the fact that it says we're breaking down that bio. So next in the bio, it talks about that he was a former housing counselor and a hip hop artist before entering politics. All right, so we'll talk about the housing counselor first, and then we'll tackle that hip hop artist part after. So there was the article on the Africana Studies. I can't believe I put it in the wrong place. Here's the district. What am I'm missing something? Hold on. Okay, yeah. I don't need that article anymore. Okay. Let's go to the district. Now, he was a housing counselor in the Assembly District of 36. Okay. And there's a reason why they keep talking about his district and the underprivileged in his district, and how he works for them and everything. And I wanted to see what was the demo in this district, right? Hold on a second, because the way they're making it seem, they're kind of making it seem like, oh no, that's not it. When here it is. No, there it is. When they talk about his work and him hating billionaires and what he's done for the people, they reference this district. So I want you to see what are the demo the what the demographic is in this district. Okay, let's see if we could make anything bigger. Oh, great. How's that? Can you see? Good. Just making sure. All right. So we good here. So first, let's take a small look at the information that they collect. Okay, just as a whole. When people think they don't know who you are and where you at and what you doing and what you do. This is Assembly District 36. It has a population of 121,852 people. It is 3.3 square miles, and there is 36,000 people per square mile. Okay, this is how they breaking down the data. Okay, the median age of the people in that district is about 35 years old, and let's see, race and ethnicity. So it's about 43. Let's make it bigger, just in case you can't see. I hope it didn't cut it off. 43% white, 7% black. Ain't no black people in his district. 0 native, Asian 20. So add this 20 onto that 40. Okay. Right. And then it says other 1%. And I don't even know what that is over there. It's cut off. And it can't be nothing too bad because it's only 4%, whatever it is. They got it broke down by the per capita income. So he's saying that this is a underprivileged area, whereas he's had to do all this work to help the underprivileged people in his area look at the per capita income and the median household income. I really probably should have brought up some black, districts and how much their income is, but this is not what you think of when you think of, the disenfranchised, the people who are being gentrified out of their neighborhoods. That ain't the tax bracket you thinking about. Okay. Persons but 13% below the poverty line. So this is like making it plain. He's sitting there talking about he did all of this work, but you see all of this information. You see all of this information. Oh, and I'll add the link. This is public. This is what they know about everybody. So they know where you at. They know what you're doing. They know how much money you make. They know. So when I want you to just think about that. This is him, as a housing counselor, where he was helping people to stay in their houses and what? In Assembly District 36. But he's touting it around like, oh, I did this huge grassroots thing, So, what else did I want to go to next? Demo people in his district, housing counselor demo. Yes. So now, let me bring in Divine to see if you have anything to say about that before I move on to the next topic.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to point out, that was a great a point to bring up about what was going on in his district, like, and just what it looks like. Because when we talk about the way in which these words that they use are framed, and you see the income, you see, all these things, and you see who is in these in that area predominantly and historically, you start to see how and why they love these terms that can be universally applied, because then you can take a narrative that's not yours and give it to other people and then make it seem like you're doing that type of work when you're not. So it's very, very important what we're doing with delineation and disaggregation, because we're taking back the narrative and giving it to those to whom it actually deserves to identify. And we're giving it back to those it actually belongs to. And that's actually, it's very long overdue.
Absolutely. I'm queuing up the next video here. Let me make sure Yep, that's what I want. So Mandami, his mom used film to get fame in America, right? Because that's not even showing me in order. How could they do this? When I printed her IMDb, it didn't show me in order. Okay, so let's see how many of them were before 1991. Real fast. Okay. So far, 0, 0. Was that her first movie?
It would. I'm thinking it would have to be because they weren't here. I mean, I agree. You can make films from abroad, but you know,
Because she has a lot of Indian movies, but they were in Uganda. But the
okay,
thing did not print in order. I'm very upset about that. Let me see. I'm sure it didn't do it. I doubt it did it in the PDF either.
right.
Let me just try to look it up real quick. What's her name? Mira. Because that's important information. There. And I feel like it's like might be leaving something out. IMDb. Filmography. Okay, let's see. See all. What? They won't let me see all her movies because it's saying that I gotta be a member. Since when?
Yeah, I've never seen that. Look, what you doing on IMDb?
Yeah.
Look it up on Wiki. See what comes up on Wiki.
Okay,
Because
hold on.
Wiki, you
Once
could.
I did, maybe because I'm on the phone. Because once I did desktop site on my phone, then it opened up.
Oh, okay. Maybe yeah. Okay, there we go.
Maybe because I was on my phone. But let's
That's
see
interesting.
here. Is it showing me in order? That's what I want to know. 2023, 2016, 12. Okay, looks like it's in order. So yeah, so she looks like 1989. She did a media show. She did a episode of a TV series. She did the Cannes Film Festival and a TV series. She did the World of Film. And then it would have been Mississippi Marsala right in here. So why doesn't it say that? Is this the right person? Yep, this is her.
Mm.
Okay, maybe that was her movies and this is her. That was her TV and this is her movies. Okay.
Oh yeah, she's. Says the first major film was Salam Bombay, released in 1988.
Yep.
Yeah.
She had two more, a couple more. She had So Far. She was a director from So Far from India. A couple more. So basically, my point is, so that proves my. We had like
That
three
was
more.
also straight from K Fighter. Let me shout her out too.
Okay. Oh, good, because my phone died.
Yeah,
That's
so
why she
Salam
probably texted me.
Bombay.
My phone died, girl. My
Right,
phone
right.
died. I'm turning it on right now.
Word, let her know.
So she probably did text me. But yeah, so she had 1, 2, 3, 4 movies, and then it was Mississippi Marsala. And none of the movies
Mm.
made no money because Mississippi Marsala made $5 million. See, there's a text message.
Yeah.
So the other movies ain't really make no money. Okay, until Mississippi Marsala. And it was a
Mm.
reason why I wanted to make sure I had the timeline down, because I wanted you to see I wanted you to see this right here, right? So, and a lot of people thought that, this was like Denzel when he was like young, and he he needed a chance just like she needed a chance, right? Nope.
Okay.
No. Okay, let's press play.
Mississippi Masala is a small budget film and not a project that would be an obvious choice for a star of Washington stature.
What one would consider a proper move for an actor who, won an Academy Award, you're supposed to move up to do, I don't know, Batman Returns or something.
But Washington, who just finished playing the title role in Spike Lee's new film, Malcolm X, is known for his commitment to movies of substance.
Not all the films I've done have a message, but I do find as I make more films that
I can't hear him when he's speaking.
Something to sink my teeth into, or something that I believe in.
For Washington, Mississippi Masala is a movie that fits the bill. He's now hoping that the movie-going public will agree. On the Entertainment Beat, Lisa Petrillo, Channel 10. I wouldn't see.
Child, when you try to be prepared, okay, so basically, this was after he won the Academy Award.
Right, what was he saying though? Because you couldn't hear Denzel.
He was saying that people would think that he would go do a big movie, after winning, his award, and that that he could, he could write his own ticket, but he wanted to do something a story that has some substance to it. So this is what I'm saying. His mom used Denzel's star power, foundational Black American star power.
Yeah. So, but I mean, so that's all
in the film industry.
Right, without question. No, I'm just asking, that's all he said? Because there was 2 points where Denzel was speaking, but you couldn't hear him talking. You could only hear the stuff that the other people were saying and what you just played. So when they showed him speaking, I couldn't hear him.
That's so weird. So why would I be able to hear and you couldn't hear, and you can only hear certain parts?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't hear none of what Denzel said, but I could hear them describing Denzel.
I told you this stuff don't make no sense.
But that's all he was saying, that he just did something of substance.
Right, yeah. He just was
okay.
Yeah, that's basically all. Like, that basically he was a big star already.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that he just wanted to do, a movie that has some substance to it. So, but my point in pointing that out, because I think a lot of people think that Denzel at the time was like young and just coming up, because he does look very young in this movie, that he did not, that she gave him a chance. Not he made her pop. He made her movie pop. He made Mississippi. Nobody would have watched no Mississippi Marsala.
That's true.
Denzel Washington
that is true.
Wasn't in it. You heard me?
That's the only reason why I heard anything about it. And that's because my mom was a super Denzel, still is a Denzel fan. So, right, that kind of story wouldn't even.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I just want to show how his mom used Black American star power to get her foot grounded in Hollywood. Through Black culture, just like the Indians hopped on Ugandan culture in Uganda and pretending to be Ugandan. So now she's over here using us, even though he had clear knowledge of the Black struggle, because his father was a professor of African studies. He still knew what he was doing. I wanted to say he trying to play dumb, and he's not dumb. He knew what
Right.
he was doing on that college application.
Agreed.
So he's willing to use the Black American struggle just as his mom used it in her movie.
Yeah.
To make her movie pop. Now, he's on record saying that he will take whatever benefits that the New York State will give him because he so happens to be African. So he's willing to hop on that too. And it just seems like, well, I mean, he said it. He will take whatever benefits he can qualify for, regardless of fairness. And that's just what it is. So how can we trust, as he's sitting there talking about he's going to make this fair, he's going to make that fair, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, when he, in every turn of his life, he attempted and used privileged every step of the way.
Yeah, that's true.
And where he could not use privilege, he put on blackness, him and his family put on blackness and Africanness and took it off when they feel like it and put it on when they feel like a goddamn hoodie.
Yeah. I mean, that's very evident and based on, what we've seen and what you've shared. And their entire life story up until this point.
And I'm not done yet. So now we're going to get into the fact that he's a what? A hip-hop artist? So once we do the rundown again, I'm just showing you how he keep using us. His family been using us, and in this us, I mean not just foundational Black Americans, but his family uses blackness as a whole.
Right.
They over there hopping on Ugandans' backs. Now they over here hopping on our back. In one lifetime. This ain't like his parents did this and then he did that and then the next one did this. This is one lifetime. His mama hopping on the back. Now she done moved him over here. He hopping on our backs. His father hopping on them. They just riding motherfuckers like donkeys.
True indeed. True indeed.
So let's get into this hip hop.
My infatuation with a Black man's beard started in my childhood. Apparently, my father kept his beard solely at my request. I loved playing in it as a little girl. He looked so manly to little tiny me. So my love for a Black man's beard isn't a fad. It's always been in me. The seed for this love offering was planted long ago inside of a little Black girl who loves her daddy. Infused in this beard growth, spray and oil is love, admiration, appreciation, and God's herbs to foster growth, healing, and a touch of softness to the strongest, most powerful men on the planet. Love Bruck, evenmelanin.com.